there are things between us that we cannot see. From parallel worlds to unknown ancient creatures and beings that live among us, but we cannot see them. There are many information about parallel worlds, also known as parallel universes, that are theoretical concepts in cosmology and physics that suggest the existence of multiple separate and independent universes alongside our own. These parallel worlds could have different physical laws, constants, and even different events and histories with different beings and creatures. What would you say if I tell you, for the first time in history, a scientist made it possible to look into these parallel worlds? This technology exists in this world, but using it is illegal due to reasons we will discuss about. And why it is so illegal, and what mystery it reveals that governments at their best effort try to avoid us access to it. Today we are going to talk about dicyanin, substance that is used to be a tool to observe human aura, and it seemed to be harmless. But countries forbidden it after World War II for unclear reasons. If you want to know what I'm exactly talking about, make sure to follow me till the end. First, I want to discuss what exactly aura is. Aura is an energetic field around the human body, and according to the human physical and mental health, the shape of human aura might be different. Very spiritual people, like some priests or monks and people with many years of practice, can see your aura with their ordinary eyes, seeing the color layers, and based on that, tell your current mental status. The interpretation of the aura's colors and qualities can vary widely depending on the spiritual or cultural context. Some practitioners claim to be able to read a person's aura, gaining insight into their emotional and spiritual well-being. For instance, a healer might claim to sense imbalances or blockages in the aura and work to correct them through various techniques like energy healing or aura cleansing. You might have seen other person's aura by chance. Did it happen to you when you stare at people and you start to see a pale light around them that is close to the white? That's the first layer. As I said before, with hard practice and becoming expert in this field, you can see all the aura layers of a person with your own eyes. The science have proved that the human eyes only is able to see 1% of the reality, colors, frequencies, and everything that's out there. And absolutely there are things that we cannot see. As an example, if you're calling or texting someone with your cell phone, you cannot see the data that flows in the air. But it doesn't mean that it's not exist. And it's because the way that your eyes picks up the light, there are very limitations on that. Now, with all being said, a scientist named as Arthur Kilner, with the knowingness of human eye limitation in seeing things, developed the curiosity on himself to invent a solution that would be able to observe unseen energies, especially human aura. Arthur Kilner's interest in unseen energies was likely influenced by the scientific climate of his time, the occult revival, and holistic health trends, which I will mention examples shortly. He began research surrounding living organisms that led him to experiment with dicyanin, a coal tar derivative with unique light-absorbing properties, in 1908. And after 3 years of research in 1911, he published a book titled The Human Atmosphere, detailing his experiments and observations. He devised a technique that involved staring at a source of light through a solution of dicyanin, which when exposed to the right conditions allowed him to perceive auras around living beings. By placing dicyanin in goggle glasses that will break down different colors from the light, and those colors, when you look, are the human aura layers that is observable by human eyes. For his success on seeing human aura, he figured out that the aura has 3 main layers: a spiritual mental, higher mental, and lower mental. And in some people, the order of layers were different, which had drawn his attention. He finds a kid that has these differences in order than normal people, After a lot of research and examination on him, he figures out that his parents were relatives and he's suffering from cancer that had not been diagnosed by any doctor. He then figured out by seeing human aura using this technology, he can predict and cure people's diseases. In the World War I, Kilner faced many challenges, but heavily tried to use this technology in the World War as well. But all of a sudden, he got murdered. After he dies, USA government comes and confiscate all his stuff and researches with no explanation to anyone that where this research go. After the end of the World War II and in Vietnam War, these dicyanin goggles were used by a special squad of USA military for the first time. But something was happening on that squad while they were in combat. They started to see unusual events and creatures like ghosts and demons, which created a huge panic among the soldiers and caused to lose their focus within the war. So their chief by the name of Ronald Reagan, responsible of this project that happened to become one of the presidents of United States later on, investigated the issue and gathered all these goggles for further examination. You might say, why these creatures should be appeared in the middle of the battle? Let me explain. In all ancient cultures and religions from Christianity, Islam, Buddha, and in some divine books such as Bible, Quran, and Rig Veda, and so on, all of them are mentioned the presence of beings good or bad other than human, like jinns, or some beliefs in various cultures saying demons entering human world that are summoned or entered from the parallel worlds. In some cultures, there are beliefs that these demonic forces are gathered in places where negative energy and frequencies are high, and they will feast and survive on these energies. So, whenever there is a conflict or war and anger, which yield a huge amount of negative energy, these forces would appear, but human eye cannot see. Based on these statements, this squad might have seen some of these demonic forces that were gathered in the middle of the battlefield. These are beliefs from the spiritual and parallel worlds that we cannot see in our world. But Kilner was the first scientist who tried to see the unseeable world with dicyanin. But after the Vietnam War, dicyanin became illegal in all countries. Even scientists and researchers working in top secret projects under the intelligence agencies in America does not have access to it. There is no trace to find this substance even on black market or dark web. There is no provider for it. All that exist are fake. And the USA military seems to stop the project from that time, even destroyed all the documents and researches about it up until now, to avoid general public of knowing its existence. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up and comment about your opinions about the existence of this mysterious substance. Till the next video, see ya.